Hi there, me again. Gonna get into the Wayback Machine or the TARDIS and go back to week one again. I said I'd do a few videos about week one. So if I got some time, I got nothing but time until December. Woohoo! So, week one. Let's talk about speech and language. So if any of you have not seen the day one freedom video, that's literally the moment is I'm being rolled out of the hospital. A friend of mine, Dave, is doing the max headroom deal on the camera. Thanks, Dave. And the gentleman behind me pushing the wheelchair is named Sebastian. Also a friend. In fact, I shoot with these guys, pretty decent, solid guys. Except for Dave. Sebastian, you're great. You're a bit of a poutine snob, but we understand that. You're French. So, depending on how you've had your stroke, left brain, right brain, ischemic or hemorrhagic, depends on how you'll be impacted when it comes to speech and language. I was a left brain stroke and it was ischemic. So it means, and it was a small ischemic stroke, right? So I was having a stroke. It was ischemic, means the little, something's clogged, right? Blood clot, cholesterol, whatever. So they gave me the special drug, going to save my life. While my stroke was starting to come on, I was slurring and stuttering. Right? That's how it was noticed. And so, subsequent, when they let me out, if you watch that Freedom Day 1 video, I'm still slurring and stuttering, stammering. I had word recall or selection issues, which just fancy medical terms for you can't find the right words. And it's not I know a better word than the one I'm using. It's you can't even find the word. Even if they gave me something to read, I could read it, no problem at all. But I knew what I was reading, but be able to provide that in verbal language, no. In fact, I'd have to simplify it. Like when the nurse came in and asked me to read they're not responsible for my stuff thing, and I had to sign it. I couldn't actually read it, so I sort of substituted language that would be appropriate, and she allowed that to fly. So, that being said, you can be impacted in many ways. Some people, you're going to have to learn to talk again, and I can only imagine how belittling, befuddling that would be. Although, the first time I met my occupational therapist, she said, hey, give me as many S words as you could in a minute. Words that start with S, like swords, slime, other words. I think I got like 6, maybe 7. Think about it. You're a fairly verbose individual with a very large vocabulary. And they say, hey, give me 6, or give me words that start with letter, whatever. And give me as many as you can in a minute. 3 weeks ago, before the stroke, right, that would have been no problem at all. Now, you're sitting, having had your stroke, and they're asking, hey, do this. And I just felt dejected. Literally dejected. So you're sitting, and when I got home, I was just flabbergasted. I was just like, how could I not? And then you get that whole 3 in the morning thing. Holy crap, more S words! But I got no one to tell. So, or if I do, they probably don't want me to wake them up to say, hey, I got an S word. And they're going to go, oh, shit, sunshine, really? No, go away. So, you're going to have some issues with speech and language, possibly. How long did it take for my language issues to go away? Well, the stroke was on a Thursday. They let me out on a Saturday. gonna say at least 7 to 10 days for the speech and language issues to leave. And they sort of took a vacation. They didn't completely leave. So, and then in that 7 to 10 days, I was sundowning. What that means is as the day progresses and the sun starts to go down, things either get worse or better. I was getting better. So as the day would progress, my stutter would start to slowly disappear. However, in my sleep, it's like my brain hit a big reset button, and at that point, now I'm stuttering again. So, yeah, take that for what it is. There's no hard and fast, right? There's no way for me to tell you this is going to be the thing. There's no way for me to gauge what your stroke is going to be like. There's no way for me to tell you, well, there's a definitive in any way, shape, kind, or form, right? Because you're dealing with your brain, and even the doctors don't completely understand how your brain works or doesn't work in some cases. So, if you get impacted by speech and language issues, yes, there is a potential it will get better, right? I can only say potential because I don't know. I've never been a doctor. I've only played one on TV. So I can't begin to tell you what your stroke is going to look like or not, right? I can't even say that. Right? So all I can say is, yes, it can get better. Turns out I didn't know 2 of my friends that had strokes, and their speech and language issues had gotten better in about 7 to 10 days. Now, does the stuttering come back? Oh, yes, it does. When does it come back? If I get overstimulated, overwhelmed, confused, too tired, very emotional, something that's very, very emotional for me, I will start to stutter. So it does slip back in occasionally. Frustrating, because once I notice it's happening, I'm like, oh, I think I need a nap. Right? So it has become a barometer, so to speak, if the stutter presents with what I need to do for me. However, I can't rule my life by a stutter. Right? I'm still going to have to go out and do things. I'm still going to have to go out and be productive. I'm still going to have to be communicative with people, and especially people I don't know. Oh, in new environments, sometimes a place I've never been before, sometimes a stutter can creep in. I've only ever had 2 individuals be difficult with the stutter. One was an employee at a restaurant, and another was a patron at a different restaurant. So, yeah. That being said, I really don't know, more to say about that. Right? I stutter now, occasionally, infrequently, at times, maybe. So, it's just part of the new normal. Will that possibly completely dissipate? Yes, I start working with my speech and language pathologist more regularly because he's back from vacation. We'll figure that out when and where. And then at that point, we'll go forward from there and get things done. So, if you like what you've seen over the last 8-9 weeks, please like, share, subscribe with friends. If you don't, please stop watching. It's probably torture by now. And for those that happen to see either in you or someone around you the signs or symptoms of a stroke, that being facial droop, slurred or stuttering speech, inappropriate language or word usage for situation and context, inability to smile equally or effectively, or maybe even at all, inability to raise both arms equally or effectively, or possibly at all, the inability to stand unaided, general body weakness or weakness on one side, please immediately place that person in a position of comfort and dial 911. Something so simple could save a life.